I'm going to leave that right in there because that was kind of funny. Forgot I had a microphone that I wasn't wearing. Well, everybody, welcome back. It is, what day of the week is it today? Wednesday. It is the month of May. I believe it's the 13th day of the month. May 13th, Wednesday. You know, when you're not going to your job or going to your school or following a routine, it's actually interesting how I sort of am not paying as much attention to what day of the week it is or what month it is. I mean, I know what those things are, but I'm not thinking about it as much. It's really interesting. So I have to actually remind myself it's May. It's the 13th. It's Wednesday. It's 4 o'clock. It's time for us to start a class. So as always, we are going to wait a few moments for some people to come on live before we actually start. And if you start this video after the fact, feel free to skip ahead till you see me doing the bow in, and then you know the official class has started. This week we've been working on combinations. And combinations, if you remember. Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie. Welcome back. You're like a clock. You're here on these 4 o'clock classes. I'm glad you made it. We will do some two pinion, and maybe we'll do some. And we're going to work on combinations, as I was just saying. So combinations, putting things together, taking the different moves that you learn and then making them work together into techniques, or even things like two pinion, which is a form. Oh, did you see one of the cats? We have 3 here in our house. Sadly, our 2 cats were just arguing with each other, so you just missed that part. Anyway, so combining moves. Now, something I want you to know. When we practice our moves, standing up or lying on the ground or whatever, however we do them, in the air. Do you know what I mean by that? In the air? It means that I'm moving around without an actual other person to actually do these moves on. And if you think about it, one part of a martial art is actually working against or with another person. When I do punches and kicks and blocks and throws and all of the other things that go along with a martial art, I'm not just swinging my arms around in space. I'm actually imagining, at least, that I'm doing it to another person. And so it helps. In fact, it's vitally important that we have other people to do this with. But sometimes we practice in the air, like this. And this helps us get our bodies used to moving around in different ways. And then later on, we can try to apply it to a real person. And those two things feel very different, by the way. That's important. So later on, when we're able to get back into a karate school and actually practice these moves together, you want to learn to feel that. Anyway, let's bow in, get ourselves started, and we'll practice some combinations after we warm up. And then, Stephanie, I'll give you a chance to work on your two pinions some more, okay? So, front position, knowledge in the mind, honesty in the heart, strength in the body. All right, so warming up. Let's just start with some arm swings. I've already done a lot of push-ups today. You know that? Every Tuesday I teach a class really early in the morning, and I do a lot of push-ups then. And then right before I went to bed last night, I did a bunch of push-ups. And then when I got up this morning, I did more push-ups. And then I did some pull-ups because I have a pull-up bar. And then later earlier, I did some more push-ups. And my muscles are actually a little sore, so I want to loosen them up before I get started. All right, let's pick your knees up one at a time. Try to pick your knee as high up to your hand as you can. Remember not to bring the hand down to your knee because that's easy. I could just stand here and do this. No, I want to pick a height from my hands, hold them up there, and try to get my knees to come all the way up. Ugh. Ugh. So I'm kind of bumping my knee into my hand with a little bit of strength. I'm trying to lift it nice and hard. Get your leg muscles nice and warm. Now, I'm going to get myself a chair, Now, you don't have to use a chair. You can use something else. You could use the wall. You could use your mom or your dad. Okay, but this is a warm-up. I think we did this last week. What I'm going to do is just put my hand on something for balance. Okay, so if I was using the wall, I could be like this. I'll use this chair just so I can be a little closer. And then what I'm going to do is do a leg swing that goes all the way to the front and all the way to the back. So I'll lift my leg in the front and then I'll lift it in the back. And I'm going to go back and forth like this. Okay? Now, if you have pretty good balance, you could do this without holding on, but it's a little more wobbly. And I'm not swinging my leg real fast. I'm lifting and lifting, lifting and lifting. Do you know what I mean by that, not swinging it real fast? I'm trying not to use momentum. There's a big word for you. You know what momentum is? It's when I let my leg swing because maybe it's moving really fast and I just sort of allow it to happen. I don't have to use as much strength. So if I swing really fast after a while, I'm trying to use momentum to make my leg go higher instead of lifting to make my leg go higher. Basically, it means slow down a little bit, okay? If I go too fast when I'm not warmed up, I could hurt my muscles. All right, I'm going to turn around and do the same thing on the other side. Let me move my chair a little bit so you can see. So a nice lift. And I always start the first few moves nice and easy. You might not be able to hear this, but my next door neighbor is mowing his lawn right now. Just a couple more. All right. Now let's try a different direction for our leg swing, okay? So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing. And if I'm using a chair, I'll put my hands on the back of the chair and then put my feet back kind of far away. So there's a lot of space for my leg to swing between me and the chair. You can use the wall. So if you put your hands on the wall like this and you have space, just make sure again that there's nothing there that your toes are going to bump into, because that would hurt. All right, now here's what happens. I'm going to swing my leg out to the side, but when I do, I'm going to turn my toes so they point up. Can you see that? Whoop, toes pointing up. Then my leg will swing across the front, and as it goes across, I'm going to point my toes up this way. Can you see that? So my toes point up, and then they swing this way and point up. The other leg stays a little bent. So lean on the chair or the wall, and then swing back and forth like this. And again, I'm not swinging too fast. I'm trying to lift my leg, and I want it to turn. See how the toes are turning? Point up and point up. Point up and point up. Get that leg swinging back and forth. When you point your toes up like this, it makes your hip turn in and out. And we want to use that move too. All right, I'll turn around so I can do the other side. So remember, swing the leg side to side, make sure there's nothing to bump your toes on, and point your toes up and up. I'd like to give you different warm-up exercises each class. So if you go back and watch these videos, each time you watch, you might have a new exercise that you could use. See how my toes are pointing up on this side and then up on that side. Ooh. A couple more. All right. I'm going to put my chair out of the way. Introduce Stephanie. Leg muscles getting warm. Okay, combinations. So remember that a combination is taking moves and putting them together. What are the moves we could use to put together? Well, for a martial arts class, we have punching moves, we have blocking moves, we have kicking moves, and inside of that are things like elbows and knees. But we also have moves like moving out of the way, right? We have footwork. So that's 4 different kinds of moves: striking, blocking, kicking, and moving, or let's call it dodging. All right, let's just take those 4. Now, there are other things to think about when we do combinations. We can imagine and this is again where we're practicing in the air, we imagine. We can imagine what this other person is doing. How far away are they before they try to do something? Are they far away? Are they kind of close? Or are they already touching us? Are they at long distance? Are they at middle distance? Or are they at close distance? And what you might do could be different depending on what you're imagining. So when I'm teaching combinations, not only will I teach you some moves, but I want to teach you all the ways you could make your own combinations. So you have to have a way of thinking about how you put them together. Well, if a person is already grabbing me, that would be different than if they're starting kind of far away from me, right? If a person is throwing a punch at me, that would be different probably than if they're throwing a kick at me. Or maybe they're throwing lots of punches. Okay, so let's start with just a combination of moves. Punches and kicks together. All right, so get in your guarding stance. And here's what I want you to start with. Okay, you're going to do a jab, and then a cross, and then a front kick, and then you're going to go back. That's it, just 3 moves. So I'm not thinking about a person in front of me. I'm just thinking about moving my body. 1, 2, kick. Just like that, okay? Let's do that a couple times. Ready? Go. 1, 2, kick, and then back. Now, each time I do the combination, I'll move a little faster and with a little more power, okay? We're still warming up, so we don't want to throw our hardest moves yet, but as our body gets warmer, you can do it faster. Go. Jab, cross, kick, and then back. Go. Jab, cross, kick, and back. Try to put those moves together quickly and smoothly, but build up the speed a little bit at a time, okay? Go. Good. Go. Nice. Now let's switch legs. Same thing. So now I've got the other leg back and my hand switched, so now jab is with the other hand, right? Jab, cross, kick. Nice and easy, right? Go. Jab, cross, kick, and back. Jab, cross, kick, and back. Oh, I didn't say go that time. Ready? Go. Jab, cross, kick, back. 2 more like that. Jab, cross, kick, go. Jab, cross, kick. And you see how I move forward? Then I just kind of walk back. Now, let's try it a little differently. Now, let's imagine this time, instead of just doing the moves in the air, that there's a person right there, right in front of you. Turn a little sideways. So here's this person. I'm in my stance, okay? They throw a punch at me. So the first thing I'm going to do is move my head out of the way, right? Whew. Now, what happens if they threw the punch towards me? Let's say they punched really hard. Maybe they're right in front of me now. They went from over there to over here. They moved closer. So I moved out of the way, and I did a jab. See that? So now what I did is I went, move, jab. Right? That's it. I just added a move at the beginning. So here we are in our guarding stance. This time when I say go, you take a step. Right? Pretend that punch is going in front of you. So you went, move, jab, and you put that right after. So you could go move, jab, cross, and see how I did my cross low instead of going up high. I went jab, cross, kick, and then I did my kick low. Why? Because I'm imagining a real person there, and now I'm aiming at parts of them, or trying to. So when I moved out of the way, their arm went there. I threw a punch towards their head, and then because their arm was here, I punched them low. And then I did a low kick towards the inside of their leg. That's what I'm imagining. Because I'm imagining this person is doing something. Okay? And that's how you build combinations. You can kind of imagine. Now, is that what will really happen if a person's in front of me? Maybe. But probably not every time, right? People will move in different ways. So we have to move our body in lots of different ways. Right now, we're just picking this one way. Okay? So, move. Jab, cross, see? High, low, kick. And I did a low kick. And I'm trying to kick maybe for the leg, for the inside of the knee or something like that, or maybe to the groin. Remember that? Try that technique. That's combination. Step, I do a little side step, jab, cross, kick, and then I'll back up a little bit, kind of imagining that I'm getting myself some distance. So that's my whole combination. Guarding stance, right? Go. Jab, cross, kick, and then step back. Same 3 moves. I just added some moves. What if I switch legs? Now I'm over here. They throw the punch. I step back this way. Jab, cross, kick. Punch, punch, kick. Try it again. I'm in my stance. Now I've got the other leg forward. Go. Step, jab, cross, kick. Now, you know what I did? When I did it that time, I'm switching back. I did a jab and a cross, and then I did the kick with the leg that was back, and then I put it back again. How many other ways could we do that? Could I go jab, cross, and kick with the front leg? Could I go jab, cross, kick with the back leg, and then land forward? Could I go jab, cross, then move and kick? Maybe. It depends on what I'm imagining that person to do. You can put those moves together in lots of ways. And we could change which punches and kicks we do. Let's make up a new one, okay? But let's change how we use our hands. Let's put some blocking moves in, and let's change from a front kick, which I did in that one, let's say to a side kick, okay? We're just picking a different kick. I'm making it up, which you can do too. So here I am on my stance. I'm imagining a person coming toward me. Okay, this time, I'm going to step with my back leg this way. Why? I don't know, because that's just what I did. Here comes their punch. I step like this, and I'm going to take this hand, and it's going to go up like it's blocking. Here's a secret, Stephanie. Anytime you're moving your arm, whatever you're doing with your arm, it could be striking or blocking. It's just going up and it's getting in the way. Okay, so in this case, it's maybe hitting their arm, or maybe it's hitting them in the side of the head when they come by, right? So I step with my back leg, my arm goes up, boom. Now that's not a jab, but it's a move with that front hand. Okay, so I went 1, right? Then with my other hand, 2, and then I'm going to roundhouse kick with my other foot. Just putting the moves. Oh, no, I said we were going to do side kick. Look, Sensei Dave got confused. Side kick. So here it is again. I step, punch, punch, and then I'll lift my leg up and side kick. And then imagine that person. What part of them could I side kick? I could side kick them low. I could side kick them in the middle, groin or stomach, or I could side kick high and go towards the head. Stay with the low and the middle ones most of the time. Okay? Here we go. So I'm in my stance. The punch comes at me, I step. I put my hand up like a block. I do a punch, and then my leg comes up, side kick. And then I'll kind of step out like that. Always have to recover after the kick. So it's a whole new combination. We just made it up. I'm in my stance, step and block, punch, side kick, and then back we go. 3 moves to go together quick. Step, block. Ooh, I almost went to the side kick. Step, block, punch, kick, and back we go. Right? Can I do it the other way? Sure. Switch feet, step, block, punch, kick, and off we go. Go. Step on my back leg, block, punch, kick. Can you make up a combination? Tell you what, if you want to make one up, right, tell me about it. Describe it to me and put it in the comments. Or if you want to take a little video of yourself doing it, you can send me that. I'd love to see it. All right, let's take a break from that and let's review two pinion. Okay, Stephanie, so I think you know all the moves pretty well. Last time we did this, I know we went over push-pull, remember? When you do two pinion, I really want you to focus on how well you push-pull. Think of all the different moves in two pinion and how they could do stronger push-pull. By the way, don't forget to do the same thing with your one pinion. That all of your moves do push-pull. So let's do it one at a time. I do my block when I do the step. Well, in order to do the block, see how the hands are opposite like this? So when I swing down, this one pulls back while this one blocks. Then the next move is to step forward and do a thrust punch. Well, this hand's down here getting ready to pull back, and this one's loaded up for the punch. So make sure they're both in there, okay? And then take yourself through each move. Push-pull. What does push-pull do for you? Push-pull produces power. That's a lot of P words. Push-pull produces power. So make sure each move has the push-pull. When you're doing a move like this, down the middle, front punch, high, and then reverse hammer. Well, when I've got one arm out and I punch, that's easy to do push-pull because this hand is pulling back while the other one's punching. But then I've got this. Just one move. You're doing something like push-pull if you drop your body a little bit and I don't know if you can see it. See how I turn my body and then kind of pulled it into it. Okay? Anytime your body's doing a little rotation, you can use that rotation to add power in your punch. You'll have to play with that. That's a lot like push-pull. I use my body turning and my body twisting to put power into something I'm doing with my hands or my feet. So let's go down the middle. So pretend you just did your block down the middle. Okay, we're at that point in the technique, and then we step forward. So we do a front punch with push-pull. Then my hand bends, and when I sink down, see how I'm turning a little bit? And then I'm going to turn into the strike. Boom, boom. Trying to hit with the side of the hand. Stephanie, do you remember what we call that? Reverse hammer. Okay, so low block, half moon, front punch with push-pull, reverse hammer with push-pull. Step. See how my hand stays there? Push-pull. Using my shoulders and my hips. The more you practice this, the better you get. And of course, you remember the part when we come back down the middle. Upward block, low punch, high punch. That is full of push-pull, isn't it? So I want you to review that and make sure you're doing your push-pull. You can always send me a video so I can watch it, and then I'll give you some comments on what you did, all right? I'll give you some feedback. By the way, all my students, if you're watching this, if you would like me to watch you do a technique while we're doing all this online, you can send me a little video clip of you doing your technique, and then I'll comment on it. Hey, that was pretty good. I like the way you did that. Make sure you step a little wider. Make sure you do a little push-pull, just like I would do in class. I'll give you some feedback on your technique. All right. Let me leave you with a thought before I go on to reading a story today. This week, and last week, we've been reading from the Adventures of Bunjitsu Bunny. I think I'll read a couple more stories from Bunjitsu Bunny this week before we move on to some other stories for next week. But one of the things I really like, I'm going to come in nice and close, about the Bunjitsu Bunny stories is that they are full of lessons that, well, they're taught in a martial arts class. Bunjitsu Bunny is a martial artist, just like us. Maybe an imaginary one. But the lessons are real. Lessons about being patient, about being creative, about asking for help when you need it. So, you know, Stephanie especially, right, that we teach lots of lessons in our karate class. This week's lesson is about something called intuition. If you remember last class, we talked about that a bit. Intuition is that feeling you have about something. It might be the feeling that there's something wrong with a situation that you're in, or that a person that's around you makes you feel a little uncomfortable. Or maybe that you're in a place that doesn't feel right, or the opposite of that. You could be in a place and you feel really good about it, or a person you think, wow, this person, I really like this person. I can't come up with an idea why, but I just have this feeling about them. And that's kind of what intuition is. Well, your intuition is pretty good. It's not always right. So we have to figure out how we can tell the difference between the imaginary feelings we have and the real ones. And for us as martial artists, we are often thinking about when we feel afraid or uncomfortable and whether or not we should stick around. So let me leave you with this thought. Right? Repeat after me. When in doubt, get out. Did you say it? When in doubt, get out. If you have that feeling that something's not right and I don't know what it is and I can't figure it out, then you should try to leave whatever that situation is. If that means go find your mom or your dad or go to another safe place where you feel comfortable, that's what you do. Could you be wrong? Sure. But it's better at least to take that action and walk away and then find out later that you made a mistake. That you can fix, right? But if it was something dangerous and you ignored that feeling and then you got hurt, well, that's harder to fix because something's broken. So when in doubt, get out. We'll talk more about these lessons as we go along, right? But for now, let's back up. I'm going to do the bow out, and we're going to turn off the camera, and I'll come back a little later so we can do a little story time, right? I'll read some more tales of Bunjitsu Bunny. So, show me your front position. Knowledge in the mind. Honesty in the heart. Strength in the body. Show me your bow. All right. I want you all to have a great day. It's nice and sunny out there. Oh, it's a little windy. I hope you get outside and go for a walk or do something nice. Get some fresh air and some sun. That's what I'm going to do when I'm done with my story. I'm going for a walk. I'll be back in about how long, Miss Farrow? What time is it right now? 4:24. All right, yeah. So I'll be back in about 20 minutes with a story. I hope to see you there. Thanks, everybody.